not. What are you going to do? Time me out?
Once again, Jack.
I can't imagine being timed out. What's it like, Super Dave?
Okay, rolling.
Oh, it's been peaceful.
I had a nice run that was probably PB pace, and then I burned a minute and a half in treetops. Ah, well, Super Dave's going to be banned, isn't he? I didn't even fail Stonehenge. It just decided to drop my glide several times in a row. What about split henge, skip, stone skip? Nice jump, Spyro. Woohoo, we got out of Stone Hill. Kind of. Oh yeah, Crystal, I told you that I'd talk through my run. Is that something you're still interested in? Okay. So I can't do the No, I missed the blue. I can't do the jump that gets you up to the end of the level from that first dragon. So I have to go through the whole level, which isn't that awful. You still go through most of the same areas. It does mean I pick up that dragon egg and get some of the blues up here. That dragon egg means I can skip one later on, not that any of the ones you get are all that out of the way. Nice. And I also can't do Toasty Wall Glide, so... I'm very tempted to skip this dragon, but I don't think there's one that I skip that's faster even without Toasty Wall Glide. But I have the pretty standard 11 dragon count coming out of Artisans because I get that extra one in Stone Hill. I don't do Nestor. The other backup, besides the one in Stone Hill, if you're not doing Nestor skip, is coming up in Dry Canyon. It's in that sub area that I don't go to. But I think that requires like a damage boost to really be all that fast. You can like get a damage boost from one of the vultures, I think. But Mr. Red, it's okay. I'm basically going to run through this pretty standard, basically like a 120 route. So I took that at the wrong angle, so I bonked on the enemy. I generally try and like slow down and not do that. And you have to go out wider to not get hit by that guy. Yeah, so basically you want to take it at a different angle and you won't bonk. Like, I generally don't anymore. That was just, I didn't do that well. But you start to learn, if you do Dry Canyon enough, sort of where you need to slow down or take wider angles so that you're not, like, hitting the ground as you hit the enemy. All right. Another just general thing is Spyro needs time to accelerate when he's charging. But if you like jump and charge, then he'll get to max speed more quickly. So like from stationary, that's a good thing to do. There's a lot of weird stuff with like Spyro's speed that doesn't apply to 2 and 3. And I'm not very good about consistently doing it. But a lot of the time, if you see me jump, especially like at the start of a level or from a dragon, or after a bonk, that's why. Same thing with like even gentle hills in like Spyro 2, Spyro 3. Gentle hills aren't a problem, but even gentle hills will slow Spyro down in Spyro 1. And you have to do things like combinations of jumping and charging, or holding down X and square at the same time to get more speed so you don't lose as much. The steepness of the hill determines what you need to do, and I'm not good when the hills are steep like this one. So there's just like a bunch of weird movement stuff that just straight up doesn't apply to the other games. I think part of that is Spyro 3 doesn't have many hills to even think about. But I found myself having problems in Zephyr because I'm expecting that movement to be what I need. And it just doesn't work in Zephyr because it's Spyro 2. So here I'm not doing Mama Proxy, I'm basically doing the 120 route. My 120 route without some of the crazy wall glides. I don't go for the purple behind the start of the level. because I'm just not consistent enough with it. So like I'm holding down X and square here, so Spyro will skitter, move a bit faster than just a normal charge. And you can hit those birds pretty low even when they're stationary. It was an okay cliff town. Nice gold, actually. Okay, coming out of here, we're going into Dr. Shemp. So I think the good players can do a jump where they don't need the cannon. If you use the cannon, keep the target in sight as the cannonball hits it. I've found that it can despawn if you like move too far away or turn away. If you actually go for the jump, which knowing you probably do, it's not all that relevant. But one of the soldiers that goes into the tent has a blue, and the cannon guy has a blue. So for this, we basically ignore the purple up on the cliff because it takes so long to get to. And we otherwise just sort of stop the level right before Dr. Shemp, who is too slow to be worth it. The touch point for this dragon is awkward. It's roughly where I rolled into it, maybe a little further. As you may or may not know, it's kind of like egg. There's a point where the game wants you to like approach the dragon, approach the egg. And in Spyro 1, it's going to move you to where it wants you to be for the cutscene. And the closer you are to that ideal touch point, the faster that will be. This matters a lot on FDS. It matters less on emulator. So for you, it's worth learning the touch points for the dragons. And you'll see, like, that's why I'm rolling into a bunch of these. I would rather lose the slight time from rolling than have a bad dragon touch. And some of them are just wild, like, it's hard to imagine why that's the touch point. But you'll just kind of learn if you spend a long time walking around the dragon, then you've touched it from the wrong side. I just kind of went through the homeworld. In 120, we do Night Flight first because we actually use the key. But in any percent, we don't. Thanks for stopping by, Cinder. Have a good night. Thank you for the good luck. I'll talk to you tomorrow. And I assume good night abiding. I hope you feel better. Talk to you later, abiding. That's good, I'm glad. There's a faster route through Night Flight than what I do, but I just haven't bothered dedicating the brain power to figuring it out. This is slightly dangerous, but we should be okay. But not a good Night Flight, because I missed that lantern. This is about where I was last run, though, and my averages have come down, so this is a better run than last one. Yeah, dragon touches are weird because it feels like when you're first learning, there are so many more important things to figure out. but at the same time, it's a very easy thing to just save like 30 seconds over the course of a run. And I still mess them up from time to time, especially in 120, but even this subset that I do for any percent. And sometimes it's just bad movement, sometimes it's my brain stops working. But it does make a pretty big difference over the course of a run, especially on FDS. So for example, in treetops before the supercharge, the best place to touch the dragon is on the side of the supercharge and not the side that you approach him from. But in Wizard Peak, it's the opposite. You want to touch him on the side exactly opposite the supercharge, which is also not the side that you approach him from. This dragon, Andor, is really bad in 120 because you're approaching him from the other side, so you have to like run around him and roll. But in any percent, it's a lot better because we're approaching him from the correct side. That Snowball Nork that we went past is just a red, so I don't bother with him. Yeah, kind of. The idea is that the game, for each of these dragon-like cutscenes, wants Spyro to be in a very specific position. And it will forcibly move Spyro to that position as soon as you touch the dragon. The closer you are to that position, the faster that animation will be, which means that ultimately there is like a correct position to touch each dragon from. Even without the charge across the wall, you can get that big Nork in one touch. You just kind of have to hug the wall and come at him at a different angle. So in Ice Cavern, we do get all of the dragons, and that's our focus. We pick up a decent number of gems just because there are so many here. So next is Alpine, where we basically do a 120 route, but skip the area with the thief. Like, we collect the thief, but we skip the area that you're supposed to charge through. You, Crystal, would probably grab that thief that I just ran past. Because I have an extra egg from Town Square, I don't need it. And I've determined that that's the one that I don't want to get. Charging chest that I skipped is a green, so I don't need that. Like, that's about as good an entry into Alpine as I am capable of. Pretty much everything went right for me there. Alright, the guy on top of this has a low value gem, so we don't waste our time letting him fall. But what he's on is a blue. I don't know if you know this, but when those stairs sort of like turn into a slide, you can hold X and it will like bump you up, sort of like the fountain in Stone Hill or the wall for Toasty Wallglide. And if you like aren't super early, you can basically get height and cut down the number of stairs you need to do by the time he turns it back. Want that. Both of these chests and the enemy are a blue, so I do want them, even if he runs away. Shoutouts to Super Dave, who has been knocked off the cliff by that enemy just running around. I do skip the side area with the, like, triple stairs. And I skip that side area, which has a couple high-value gems, but just not worth it. Thanks for the shoutouts. Since I have a good... since I was healthy, I go to that area with the rockets later, and I just charge into it. If I were like green sparks, I would go there first and flame it, and then collect the gems after getting the other area. As you know, this wall doesn't exist. So I'll grab that, but I'm not going to go through the chase. I'll grab those 3 greens, free Kelvin. The flame chest that I skipped is just a red, and I'm not going to bother with the 20 gems out on the pillars. I'm pretty sure that's more or less standard for any percent. If you're down gems, you can do some of the stuff I skipped. That's a 120 habit that I picked up, doing that before the supercharge. In any percent, it doesn't really matter, because all of those things I just did are low-value gems. Alright, next is High Caves, which is a weird route. There are technically 2 routes from this, and you may see, like if you're looking at... Really? If you're looking at Laura or Deo, you may see them do something different. Just give me a moment. Yeah. From that first, like, indentation, you can beat him to actually using another tornado. I agree. So there is a Bike Caves route, and there's the route that I'm going to do. I think with the Bike Caves route, you have to be like really good for it to actually work. But they both pretty much start off this way. So I'm basically collecting all of the dragons. I skipped levels with a bunch of dragons, and so I don't really have many options for dragons to skip the rest of the way. We're not doing Terrace Village. We're not doing Dark Hollow. We're not doing Toasty. And I skipped Nestor, and I skipped a dragon in Dry Canyon. And that's basically it. You have to get everything else. So most of the route is going to be getting to the dragons in ways that, like, gets you the most gems along the way. But there are so many, like, high-value gems in these 2 rooms after Ajax that we're going to get it. The alternative would be doing Bike Caves, killing some of those spiders, doing a full loop and grabbing a bunch of gems that way. But if you fail it, it's probably slower. And I'm gonna, to the best of my ability, supercharge into the Wizard Peak portal. Depending on how things are going, I have to slow down a little bit so I don't like fly over it or bonk into it. That went pretty well. We're going to ignore the side path in Wizard Peak. I'm going to grab that blue so this can spawn. I'm going to do a death abuse here, sort of like you're probably used to seeing in this level. But there are definitely routes that don't require it. That was not good. That's a red. But... yeah, so for this dragon, like I was saying, you actually want to touch from roughly that side, not where you approach him from. It's kind of weird. So I'm going to do this with 2 lives instead of 1 that you'll probably see in World Record, which would do a crazy supercharge that gets up to both of the supercharge areas. You're welcome to go for that, but as far as I can tell, it's quite hard. You're worried about lives, there's one at the top of the other side here. But I'm doing good on lives. That's a 25. So, unfortunate miss there. I'm down a few gems. It's probably not a big deal. I have a lot of wiggle room in Jacques at the very end. But ideally, I would have gotten that strong chest with the supercharge. I can kind of tell how I'm doing. I want to be around like 307 gems when I touch Hexus. I'm at 277, so I'm behind, but it's not like the end of the world or anything, especially this early on and in a route where I overgem. There's a guy behind me who will spawn. He's a blue, so I do want to get him, so that's why I do those spring chests, even though they're a bit slow. He's a purple, you absolutely want him. And this dragon's touch point's the opposite side of him, so it's annoying. But again, basically I'm just grabbing every dragon and trying to like not lose too much time collecting the high value gems. Blue, purple. I believe this is also a blue. We've already beaten him. Yeah, like there are a lot of high value gems along this path. I'm going to try for Boldar skip, so I'm going to manipulate the camera. I don't know if I got it. Why am I touching them on the opposite side? I'm trying to touch the dragons on the side where the cutscene moving Spyro is going to be shortest. And for each dragon, there's a specific touch point that you really want to go for. Sort of like in Egg, if you approach a few of the eggs from the wrong side, the cutscene just won't trigger at all. Like in your 100 egg route, the 3rd egg that you get, the 2nd in Sunny Villa, you have to like be on the left side of that platform or it just won't trigger. Basically, it's kind of like that. If you touch the dragon from the wrong side, it's just slow. Oh, yeah, that's the goal. Touching it where Spyro is going to end up is generally the goal. What I meant is you touch on the opposite side of where the enemy was, where Spyro just had been. And so it's awkward because you have to run around the dragon to get there. Or for like Boldar, you really want to touch him like before on the opposite side, but with Boldar skip. Wait, what did I miss? How did I miss a plane? I've never done that before. Hopefully Boldar's not here. I did some camera manipulation. Okay, he is. So you'll see Spyro's now walking around Boldar, and if I had touched him from the side Spyro's on, it would have been much faster. But I was going for Boldar skip to just skip that entirely. No, I'm just bad. Okay. For Blowhard, basically the goal is to get all of the gems. This is one of the fastest like gems per second levels in the game other than like the flight levels. There is a single red that we may skip and a green at the end. Since I missed 30 gems in Wizard Peak, I'm probably just going to grab them all. But yeah, basically this is exactly like 120. You're grabbing everything. I know. So this is another one. The dragon's touch point is the opposite side of those chests. So I have to run. I think the other thing you can do is get him and then grab the chests. But I grab the chests, then I roll into him from the other side. This can be done faster, but I don't really want to risk it. So he's about to shoot. We want to avoid him going up, so I'm going to try and jump, like neutral jump almost, and flame him from the maximum possible, most fun level. Huh, good question. I feel like the... Quiet, Super Dave. It might be Wizard Peak, honestly. Yes, we're naming levels that are not in the route. Super Dave should know better. Or Super Dave does know better. It's unclear if Cyanide does or not. Quick, someone say Terrace Village. This dragon pushes you very far away, so I think normally people grab it after other gems. Okay, so with these 3 chests, there's like a strat where you basically damage boost, and then you hit 2 of them, and you get them much faster than I did. But then you go into Misty Bog having taken damage, and I just really don't want to take free damage going into Bog. I have enough trouble as it is. There is, but generally, if you fail the strat, you take damage twice. So, like, you have to also be good at the strat. My route through Wild Flight is bad. Don't do this, but it puts cycles where I understand where they're going to be, which honestly just has some value. Normally I can grab that and the arch, but whatever. I think the standard Wild Flight skips multiple boats and just goes into the tunnel, whereas I skip one and then go into the tunnel. Wild Flight is always an experience. So for my gem count, I am down a little bit against where I'd want to be. The Whirlwind takes a bit of time to load in, so you can grab these gems after and not before you do Wild Flight. So you get that blue from that enemy for free when you leave Misty Bog, but it's annoying if he, like, hits you. So depending on where he is, I may flame him anyways. There are 2 lives here, which are good because it's very common to like take a death. Come on. The other is behind this wall. There's one more of these guys. So what I'm going to do is similar to the 120 route for the most part. But I'm going to skip some of the gems that are far off in the distance behind that dragon. Because I don't need 500. I grab about 450, which is still, like, honestly more than most people will grab. You didn't even hit me. Oh, come on. It's... whatever. Like, it's eating my glide input. It did that to me in treetops too. But yeah, this is basically the 120 route. Yeah, it is the PS5 controller I've been struggling with. I grab these, you really don't need to. In fact, you probably shouldn't. Within reason, the game will point you at enemies when you like do a turn charge like that. So I am fairly comfortable that within reason, the game will take me from that spring chest and face me towards the enemy I want to grab. Classic Misty Bog. Of course, I did it perfectly in my last run, and then I lost 1.5 minutes in treetops. Six enemies here. I use sound cues to make sure I get them all, but if you miss one, it's not worth going back for them in any percent. One of the benefits of that death is I do have gold sparks. I'm going to stand on that dragon again in case I die here, just so I don't end up back at Bubba. I wanted that. This guy's a green. Whether or not I get him kind of depends on how I'm doing on gems. Yeah, not a great log. I'm going to be losing a decent bit of time here. That fall was pretty bad. Alright, treetops. That general Stonehenge area, there aren't all that many gems there. I think generally runners will skip it, but again, I'm a little down on gems, so I will be doing it. The two enemies at the end are a green and a blue, so it's not that big a deal, but I don't trust myself to get stone knocked playing like this. This guy's a blue, and then a green and a blue. Other way around, but... I believe the top runners will skip that so that they can try and beat the green thief to the island. But because I'm slow enough, it doesn't matter. The green thief will actually get there before me anyways. Alright, that looks like enough height. Yep, Stonehenge skip, exactly. Did I grab that? I must have. I didn't hear it collect. Alright, so out of here, I'm going to try and grab as many of these chests as I can. Good runners can get them all. Thanks for the good luck, Canis. I'm not a good runner, so I can't. Oh, that's really bad. So I try and grab that red thief right here, and you can do that if you flame him before he starts moving. It loses time in 120, but if you fail Stone Knot, it's 25 gems that you'll get either way. So I normally go for it. Now if I fail Stone Knot, I'm going to be down an extra 25 gems beyond where I normally would be. I'm going to grab this for safety. I did get this in practice, but I'm only like 50-50 with it. Yeah, that was not remotely close. Actually, since you asked to see a backup, I'm going to do a backup for this. Your options there are basically you can take a death and try and get up to the top of treetops the normal way, or I'm going to pick up the gems later on in the route. I dropped about 75 gems from failing that trick, and so that's really brutal. With Metalhead, I'm going to skip a couple small areas where it's just not worth going to, but otherwise this is going to be sort of a full clear 120 type route. Going to do a nice wall glide there so I don't take damage. You can also do it with a good charge glide. So instead of heading out where the life is and there's like a 5, I'm just going to drop down. Save some time. I'm also not going to do the area up top here. Just going to skip by it. These are both golds. You want them. Alright. Now we're going to run through Metalhead. We did grab the key, so we'll head to that side area as well. There's a pattern for this cycle. Generally, I want to go counterclockwise that first time through in like a figure 8 shape. But the pattern will also depend on your movement. So it's pretty consistent for me that I can do that. And here, depending on the timing, I really want to hit these in this order. Yeah, I'm going to miss some of them, though. And so I'll have to do a second pass. And I'll do some of the cleanup in here, not all of it. I won't glide across, just not enough gems to be worth it. But all of these enemies and the chests over here are worth picking up. And so I got 445 out of the 500 gems there. So, especially being down gems, I want to do some homeworld cleanup. The key chest has a bunch of nice gems. That enemy's a gold. I won't be quite as thorough as I might be in 120, but I'm going to grab a bunch of these gems here. If I'm way ahead in gems, I can just sprint to the balloonist, which is what that gold is. All right, so next is Icy Flight. Going into there will give me a sense of how many gems I need in Jacques, which will determine the route I'm going to take. I know what route I'm going to take. It's going to be my backup route through Jacques because I missed all those gems in Stone Knot. You may have seen this. Basically, to get to Icy Flight, I'm going to damage boost over these guys. Hi, Debian. Welcome on in. Thank you so much for the raid. I hope your run went well. Crystal, if you're around, could you give a shout out, or any of my VIPs? Debian, feel free to shout yourself out. Thank you, Cyanide. How was your run? Hey, Gladbags. Welcome on in. Thank you, Debian. So yeah, Crystal, I damage boosted over those big enemies instead of making them small with the cannon. Yeah, Debian, hope your run went well. For those of you who don't know, Debian will be running in the Team 1545 this coming weekend, doing Spyro the Dragon, competing against Super Dave, in fact. Nice. Sub estimate is good. I'm hoping that we beat averages, but this is not promising. Especially when I do that and get the route wrong. Psyching out Super Dave is always good. Yeah, I got the route wrong. Super duper. That is the best trash talk. Now, rough plus 19. I also didn't pay attention to my gem count either entering or exiting that level. So let's see how this is going to go. Alright, so I need 276 gems. Jacques himself gives 175. So I do need to pick up a decent amount here. And what that means is I will be going left side. So left side is slower, but has more gems, including the key for the key chest. So because I failed Stone Knot, because I'm behind on gems, I'm going left side. But I really, really want to be going right side, so I'm going to be losing time here, especially if I do that. Now I'm going right side. Because I have the key. Forgot that he wasn't the... Oh, quiet you. I'm actually good on gems at this point. I'm back here. Because I needed 200, like 70 whatever. And I get 175 here, so this should be fine. Hey, Kenj was pretty funny. How did he hit me? Can't miss that gem. Yeah, he does that if you like are on top of him when you get the final hit. He'll blow up and do damage. I've had that happen before. Alright, so I do have a lot of time save against averages in North Cove. So, like, I can definitely get a 54 on this, but PB is long dead. Alright. You do have to touch this dragon, or else the heads won't open, even if you go through the end of level vortex. So our goal at this point is to just get to the end of each level, however we want. And ideally that will be not like that. And I want... What's he doing up there? What's he doing? Well, we're death abusing apparently. And the time save is gone. Averages are dead. Excuse me? I just want to finish a run, but I'm so mad. Yes, this trick that I've never actually failed is just not going well. Well, so much for 54. On to Twilight. It's just so straightforward, and then that happens. Oh no, rats. Oh yeah, that's right. You did say this was like your favorite song. I'm not convinced it saves time if I do it that way. But at least we'll beat averages. Oh, nice gold. Maybe it does save time either way. Alright, let's finish off the run, and I'll probably do one more after this. You can do these faster than I do, but I go slow for safety.
You're toast, Mork.
Eh. Thank you for the G and the GG.
Sorry I took so long. I kind of forgot about you.
What about Ganasty Ganork?
Nasty Nork is toast.
Thanks.
So now
Super
there's
Dave, Cyanide.
order again in the Dragon Kingdom?
Well, mostly. I've still got some treasure to pick up.
What will
All right, let's run